Begin quote. To be or not to be, end quote. Shakespeare. Or as I prefer to call it, to meddle or not to meddle. It can be difficult to understand the differences between subgenres of heavy metal music. Welcome to the guidebook to heavy metal genres you didn't know you needed. During the last 3 years, I have avidly listened to extreme metal and have picked up on many of the subtle differences. I will describe 4 different subgenres in detail and will point out the most obvious differences between them. I have also prepared short examples of each of these genres. All examples naturally contain no copyright material as I wrote and performed them myself. As a voice major, I wish to share some of what I have already learned throughout high school and college. Metal music attracted my interest at a younger age, and while I understand that many people do not find intense music appealing, I think that it would be enjoyable to integrate all genres into music courses. Let's get right to it then. Heavy metal is an outgrowth of rock music. As time has progressed, instrumental technicality, whether it be drums, guitars, or vocal, has increased. This first genre is a perfect example. Progressive metal. Progressive metal was created from more technical rock groups. As heavy metal was starting to be introduced to the music scene in the early to late 1980s, several bands started incorporating less guitar distortion, but increasing the difficulty of the instrumentation. Progressive metal oftentimes has clean vocals, odd time signatures, complicated guitar and bass parts, and syncopated drums. Let's give the progressive metal example a listen, shall we? Next up on our list, thrash metal. Originating in the early 80s, thrash metal drew influence from punk and 70s metal. With fast drum rhythms and intense chord-built guitar parts, thrash is a non-stop energy. There is a trend of long instrumental sections with no vocals, which can unfortunately lead to a bit of boredom in this age of listeners. Next up, metalcore. Metalcore is a more recently maturity in metal music, with mixes of clean and harsh vocals, simplistic to highly technical drums, and aggressive guitar riffs. Metalcore is a staple of melody and intensity.
Pull down for the strength of society. Pull down for the strength of society. I told you, you wouldn't believe me.
Next, deathcore. Deathcore is a modern development from death metal. Death metal typically contains low growls and fast drums and guitar. Deathcore has expanded on these death metal virtues, adding high-pitched screams and more intricate guitar playing, not to mention the incredibly difficult drumming patterns. This subgenre deploys harsh vocals exclusively. Many people, such as myself, who are deeply immersed in the metal world, will become hooked to deathcore. In the words of Dr. Seuss, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. Dr. Seuss. Well, I do mean what I have said. I have a great passion for this topic, and I hope that I have sparked some interest in you. If not, I hope at least to have informed and perhaps amused many of you. There are many other subgenres that I do not have time to delve into, but it is possible that you will begin research of your own. Thank you.